Moments of inspiration mixed with time to network, IBJ Media Events has you covered. From industry deep dives to awards celebrating Indiana's top leaders, see what's coming up and reserve your seat at ibj.com/RSVP.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand for Monday, April 6th, 2026. I'm Gary Dick. It is estimated there are currently more than 70 data centers in operation across Indiana, with dozens more being proposed. However, the fast-growing surge is raising concerns among farmers in rural communities about what it could mean for land, water, and their way of life. In an interview with our partners at Hoosier Ag Today, Governor Mike Braun said he wants the major corporations putting up the data centers to pay for necessary upgrades to the nearby power grid.
It's a real issue, but it can be a big economic benefit if we get it right. Data centers are only going to work if the hyperscalers pay for every penny of it. The companies that want them are the richest in the country. Whether they're in front of the meter or behind it, it cannot impact current families and businesses. And that's where some of the early ones got in before that was fleshed out. They are willing to pay for it. In Indiana, you're going to be putting more electrons on the grid than you're using. Prove it that you're going to bring prices down.
Indianapolis is hosting more than a dozen executives representing major conventions for this year's Men's Final Four. And Visit Indy Executive Vice President Chris Gall says the full court press is on to impress them about Indy as a big event city.
We have 13 prospective conventions that are thinking about Indianapolis, and it's very impactful that we'll walk them down Georgia Street to see the Signia and the Convention Center expansion. Through renderings and now in person, we'll be able to show them traction yards. And at the end of Georgia Street, there'll be a new Ritz and a Live Nation venue and a fever practice facility. That's a pretty compelling 3-block walk if you're thinking about booking Indianapolis into the future, set against this big event, the idea that we're growing from a tourism perspective.
Fishers-based ReElement Technologies Corporation says work on the first phase build-out of the former RCA Thompson plant in Marion is nearly complete. The company said in a news release it expects to begin initial production in the third quarter of this year, with the first full phase slated for completion by the end of the year. ReElement Technologies announced plans in 2023 to invest a minimum of $100 million to convert the Marion plant into a rare earth and battery material refinery that could eventually employ more than 300 workers. You're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio. Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick, coming to you this week from Northwest Indiana, Jeffersonville, Muncie, South Bend, in downtown Evansville, Terre Haute, Fort Wayne, Richmond, from one of the state's key entrepreneurial and innovation hubs, 16 Tech. Inside Indiana Business, Indiana's business news leader. A long vacant downtown Hammond building is set for redevelopment into housing and retail. Moynihan Capital plans to convert the century-old Hotel LaSalle into 28 apartments. The $4 million project will include space for a restaurant and other retail. Developers expect construction to be complete in less than 18 months. Vincennes University has announced that WVUT-TV Channel 22 will end its affiliation with PBS effective June 30th. The move follows a review of operations and long-term sustainability after the loss of federal and state funding for public broadcasting. The station will continue airing PBS programming through the end of June, maintaining its current schedule during that transition. A healthcare industry executive with nearly 3 decades of experience in medical services management has been named CEO of Indianapolis-based Marathon Health. Chris Preco succeeds co-founder Jeff Wells as chief executive of the nationwide primary care services provider. Last year, the company opened 83 new health centers, bringing its total to more than 700. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.
I'm Tiffany Souter, mom of 4, wife, entrepreneur, and host of the Life of And podcast. For years, I built my life with brute force. A successful business, a growing family, and absolutely zero margin. I was tired, snappy, and felt constantly behind, and I was too afraid to admit it. Everything changed when I stopped trying to do more and started building systems that actually worked for my real life. If you too are craving more peace, more presence, and just more time for you, I'd love for you to join me on the Life of And. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast app or listen at ibjpodcast.com.
Do you want to know what really drives change in Indiana? You won't find it in sound bites, you'll find it in stories. Stories from CEOs, lawyers, coaches, entrepreneurs, and community advocates. That's the IBJ Media Podcast Network. Insightful, local, impactful. Find all of our shows by searching IBJ Media in your podcast app or visit ibjpodcast.com.